I just read something in Game Informer that horrifies me. In the latest edition of Game Informer, there's an article about how 2016 was a huge year for the FPS genre, and of course, Overwatch was mentioned, as a bit of a unique title in terms of what people have to come to expect from games, especially FPS. This is what industry analyst Michael Patcher's greatest criticism of Overwatch was. Quote, Blizzard still hasn't done what they're supposed to do, which is create microtransactions where players get something of value. The problem with loot boxes is that they're all cosmetic items only, end quote. And that players get much more out of Halo 5 and Titanfall because players can be rewarded by buying the ability to be better at the game. Maybe I don't speak for everyone, but how much more out of touch could you be? The greatest thing about shooters back in the days of Halo 3 and early COD was that at the very least, there was a level playing field for everyone who purchased the game. I wouldn't have to worry about someone else being better than me because they invested more money, and players who are more talented could display their talent by having cool call signs or even just the level they achieved in matchmaking. Instead, Halo 5 is a half-assed user experience in competitive matchmaking, and the game is clearly meant to funnel players into the pay-to-play Warzone bullshit so they can make more money off you. I think what that industry analyst meant to say is that devs won't follow suit because it doesn't matter how much people as a whole enjoy the game as long as there are enough people willing to pay for the ability to compete. He even says that Overwatch doesn't offer free DLC, which is patently untrue as they just released a new map for free. Anyway, my whole point is that the straight up no BS approach is the most endearing thing to me about Overwatch. I don't have to worry if Mei is going to break out her super ult for just $3.99 and win the game for her team because she was more willing to shell out money to create an unfair advantage. After all, we're all spending at least $60 to play these AAA titles anyway, who actually enjoys the experience of working hard to earn the cool skins and sprays that give a player a sense of pride. Blizzard, keep doing what you're doing. Please, this is the best gaming experience I've had in 5 years. It's no surprise that the dev team is the most responsive and interactive within its community. They have something to be proud of with what they've done. What I have just read to you is a Reddit post on the r/Overwatch subreddit by Measure400. I came across this while browsing the Reddit forum, and I was really interested because I haven't subscribed to Game Informer in a long time, and I was very interested to see what Game Informer did wrong, because Game Informer is usually not too new knowledge. Sometimes we have new stuff coming out of there, but not that often. So I wanted to see what he talked about. I read this thing about 3 or 4 times, and something became clear to me. Michael Patcher has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. And I'm going to go more in depth on this whole post as the video goes on, but I want to focus on this guy first. Now, he is an actual industry analyst, at least that's what his Twitter feed says, and he's not someone they just pulled off the street to give an interview with. He is someone that has been in the industry for a while, and he knows what he's talking about. But at the same time, he doesn't, because if he knew anything, he would know that microtransactions are horrible for almost everybody involved. Microtransactions benefit one person, and that is the publisher. Whoever publishes the game is who benefits from these microtransactions. The developers don't, because they get hatred on their from their community. The players obviously don't, because more than often people do microtransactions wrong and end up becoming a pay-to-play system, like he mentioned here, like Halo 5. Now, I cannot speak to Halo 5 because I have never actually played Halo 5, but apparently you have some pay-to-play BS in the Warzone over there. Microtransactions are absolutely horrible, and something that Overwatch built itself on was the fact that it's going to be an FPS that was not only made by Blizzard, but had absolutely no microtransactions available that is needed. Everything that you could buy, the microtransactions that are in the game, the microtransactions that you can buy are the loot boxes, and every single thing in the loot box is cosmetic. Nothing in the entire game from the loot boxes will ever help you win a game in either quick play or competitive. Absolutely nothing. Yes, they're fun to have, and yes, they're cool to brag about, but it will never help you win a game. You have the same chance, and you have the same skill, whether you're playing with the Afridi skin for Zenyatta or the classic skin. Whether you're playing with the classic skin for Roadhog or the Rudolph skin. You do not have any better chance of winning a game when you're playing with these skins. Nothing in the entire game from loot boxes will ever help you win a game, and that is something that Overwatch built itself on, and that's something that is absolutely amazing about Overwatch, is that the developers have not become greedy. And yes, it's only been out for less than a year, but they will not become greedy because they're Blizzard. That's besides the point here. Michael Patcher is not only condoning this, but encouraging this. Blizzard still hasn't done what they're supposed to do, he writes, which is create microtransactions where players get something of value. The problem with loot boxes is that they're all cosmetic items only. Yes, they're all cosmetic items only. Yes, they are. Well, how is that in any way a problem? He wants a pay-to-play system. Does anybody else want this? He is talking out of his ass here. And Measure 400 even writes here, maybe I don't speak for everyone, but how much more out of touch could you be? Yes, how much more out of touch could you be, Mr. Patcher? Because you have no idea what you're talking about. Again, microtransactions benefit one person, and not only do they give the community a horrible negativity towards the developer, because the developers usually do get blamed for this, but they also probably dismantle the community from the inside out because they do eventually become pay to play. Now, this is obviously evident in Halo 5, like Measure 400 says here. Halo 5 did not start off being pay to play, and Halo 5 did not start off being pay to win, and the way he talks about it here really does make it sound like it's pay to win in a sense, or at least pay to play in a sense where you can only pay to get into the war zone maybe. Again, I don't know how Halo 5 works, but if this is true, if Michael Patcher really says what he means here in this quote, and the thing about Halo 5 here is true, which I do think it is. I think I remember hearing about pay to play in Warzone in Halo 5 when it first came out. Michael Patcher must be the biggest fan of Halo 5 because it is completely pay to play in the most true sense. Michael Patcher, again, has no idea what he's talking about. He gets cut too much slack here when Measure 400 gives him a little bit slack, saying he's trying to say this. Well, no, berate this guy for it because he screwed up. And I guarantee you a Game Informer did not just tell him to say something and then pop it on the magazine, because this is absolutely, I'm baffled that they let this guy honestly go on the magazine, because he should have gotten more berated for this. He should have gotten more hate because he's literally condoning pay-to-play and microtransactions, which are something the game community, the entire gaming community, has hated since they started and have called for the abolition of since they started. Microtransactions have always been a negative thing, no matter what game you're playing, whether it's Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, what else? There's Call of Duty now. Even Modern Warfare Remastered has some crazy microtransaction stuff. That I don't play Call of Duty, but I know it's there because it was a huge deal. Because Infinity Ward said, or Raven Software, I think, creates it. That whoever created it said they're not going to have loot boxes in Modern Warfare Remastered because they want to keep the integrity of the game, because they want to keep the game true to itself. Well, guess what? Less than a year after release, less than 6 months after release, actually, they have loot boxes in Modern Warfare Remastered. You know how quick that turnaround is? That is literally them launching the game, getting about 3 patches out and saying, hey, we want more money. No, you already got our money. You already took our money from our wallets because you played the nostalgia card. Screw you. And screw Michael Patcher for condoning this. Because pay-to-play is absolutely BS. Pay-to-play is bullshit. There. That's literally the only way I could describe it. You want more money on top of the $60 we already paid you for the game. I paid $40. I gave Blizzard an extra $20 during the Halloween event because I wanted to get some sweet skins. Yes, I wanted the skins. Yes, I paid for them. But no, they do not give me an advantage over the competition when I'm playing in competitive or quick play. Just because I have the candy-giving Ana emote does not mean I'm automatically going to be better than any Ana, or I'm going to be able to 360 no-scope the Pharah in the sky. No, it does not. Battlefield 1 also actually has their own loot box system, and again, they do not give you any kind of edge over your enemy in any way, shape, or form. And guess what? Battlefield 1 sold great. Guess what? Call of Duty sold like shit this year. Guess what? No one is playing Halo 5 this year. Do you see a trend here where developers go back on their word, where developers make you pay to play, make you pay to have fun, and you see how their games turn out here? Blizzard, for one, Blizzard's not going to do this because it is obviously jeopardizes the integrity of the game. Not only the integrity of the game, the integrity of Blizzard, and the idea of Overwatch being an open game where you can have fun any way you want, and you do not have to be a level 600 to really get into the game, or you can't really have fun with the game unless you have this skin or or this item, you know. Overwatch is not that game. Overwatch is a game where you can pick up from level 1, you can have as much fun as you can level 700. I'm level 215, I think, and I'm still having as much fun as I did when I was level 6. Michael Patcher actually goes on in the magazine to quote Halo 5 and Titanfall 2 and says that players get rewarded for playing, but people can still buy weapons and items if they don't have that much time to invest in their game. Again, Titanfall 2 sold like shit. Halo 5 is being played by no one. The fact that these models are in the game have to be representative of something. Yes, Titanfall 2 was a good game. Yes, I praised Titanfall 2 in my video on it. And yes, I enjoyed Titanfall 2. And yes, I think that more people should have bought it. But I do not in any way condone their microtransaction policy. Back to what Measure 400 said. People were able, in the old days of COD, and I think he said Halo 3, sorry. He said, back in the days of Halo 3 and early COD, was that at the very least, there's a level playing field for everyone who purchased the game. I wouldn't have to worry about someone else being better than me because they invested more money. And players who are more talented could display their talent by having cool call signs or even just the level they achieved in matchmaking. Now, I want to focus on that last part. The level they achieved in matchmaking. Well, I remember when Overwatch was out for about 3 weeks. We met this guy. He was playing Roadhog, and we were playing him on New Bunny. I was with my buddy. And he had a star under his name. Now, 3 weeks into the game, we didn't know what a star was. We didn't know what that was. And someone told us that he donated $1,000 during development, which is obviously not true, as we know now that it's a prestige star. But the fact that he had that star, we figured out about 3 days later that star meant prestige. And the fact that he had that star 3 weeks after the game came out really led us to believe that he was a great player. That he did well. And let me tell you something, he did do well. He got play of the game 3 games in a row as Roadhog before his hook was completely broken. The level he achieved in matchmaking was great. The level that he had achieved in the time the game was out was impressive, and that was cool. The fact that he was able to display that was cool. He did not pay for that. He did not give the developers money for that, although we were led to believe that. He did not give the developers money. He did not buy certain things, or he did not buy an instant level 100 pack like they have in World of Warcraft, but that's a whole different thing. He did not do this stuff. He played the game. He played the game. How hard is it to play the game? Okay? And the fact that you have cool call signs, and that's more of a Call of Duty thing, but that's also relative in Overwatch, like the star I was talking about. The fact that he had the star was awe-inspiring to us. We were level 40s, right? 3 weeks after the game came out, we were level 40s. And we had no idea what the star meant. We didn't know what it was. We didn't know. We thought it was because he gave $1,000 when it was in development. No, it wasn't. It was because this guy was freaking good at the game. It's because this guy knew what he was doing when he was playing Roadhog, or whoever else he leveled up on. My point is that this guy was good at the game, and that's how he got his stuff. And yes, this guy was decked out with legendary stuff, but guess what? I assure you he did not buy this stuff, because 3 weeks in, he was a prestige already. He got this stuff all out of loot box. He didn't pay a cent of it, I assure you, and he surely didn't pay it for his levels. Absolutely not. You know why? It's because Overwatch does not offer that satisfaction. Overwatch does not offer that ability. Let me scold Game Informer here for a minute, because Game Informer had a horrible idea letting this guy on. Not to mention that he is an idiot, but second of all, he was horribly misquoted, I assure you. The way Game Informer wrote this article, at least wrote this paragraph, is absolutely hideous. And I'm not even in writing at all. I don't have any interest in writing or scripting or anything like that. But I can tell that he meant to say something else, but Game Informer made it sound like he said something, or made it sound worse than it actually was. He sounds like he's condoning this, and in a way he is. I'm not making this entire video. I didn't bash on this Michael Patcher guy for 5 minutes just for no reason. No, he is wrong. He is surely out of touch with everything. However, Game Informer made a horrible mistake of not only writing like this, but letting this guy into this magazine because of what his title was, I guess. He's an industry analyst. Well, I don't even know what that means, first of all, to be completely honest. I don't know what a game industry analyst is. Half a game's journalism anyway. It's just respouting whatever somebody's PR manager says, you know. But industry analyst, what does that mean? Does he sit down and look at graphs all day about how game sales went and everything? No, I assure you he doesn't. This guy has no idea what he's talking about. Or, I take that back. he probably has some idea what he's talking about. The way Game Informer made it sound, he sounds like he doesn't know he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's in this sense it's Game Informer's fault. The way he said, the way it's written is horrible, and it makes it sound like it's a lot worse than it is. And don't get me wrong, it's bad, but it's a lot worse than it actually. It sounds a lot worse than it actually is because of whoever wrote this Game Informer article has no idea how to write a proper article. And lastly, I want to talk about Overwatch and Blizzard, because I assure you Blizzard would never do anything like this. Not only because they've been around for 20 years and have not disappointed me at all, but because they are a true company that are true to their word and have integrity. You know, people like Bethesda, game companies like Rockstar, Bethesda, who else is out there? I can't even think of some. Rare is another one. These people have integrity in their business, and that's why they're so successful. Blizzard especially, they have integrity. They make great games. They make polished games. They are smart about what they do, and they surely do not go back on their words, especially with something as big as this. The main draw of Overwatch was that they did not have any microtransactions that were based out of ability to play the game better. You know, after Advanced Warfare, people in the first-person shooter market were kind of butthurt about how you can get the Obsidian Steed and destroy everybody, and it's the same chance for everybody. This guy just got lucky, basically. You know, I played through Advanced Warfare and probably about 40 hours in the multiplayer and never got the Obsidian Steed. But there's some guys who got it in an hour or two, and that was, it sounds like more going off on a tangent, but let me assure you that that's the reason why people were kind of turned against microtransactions, in the sense that people just bought $20 worth of loot crates. People just bought $20 worth of loot boxes, and they happened to get a better item because they spent $20 and you decide to keep your money. It's a horrible business model. It really is. And I assure you that Blizzard will in no way ever have anything of the sort of making the game easier for you or make you overpowered because you paid them an extra $5. That was my rant on Michael Patrick, Game Informer, and a little bit of praise for Blizzard at the end there. Absolutely horrible thing to say in the Game Informer magazine, one of the biggest magazines in the game industry, actually. And it's something that needs to be addressed, I think. I think it does. And obviously, Measure 400 here does too. So thank you, Measure 400, for bringing this to my attention. Thank you, everyone in the Overwatch Reddit that talked with me and talked about it and their thoughts on it. And I hope that you guys have a different opinion, honestly, because I want to hear what your guys' opinion is. Tell me what your opinion is on this Michael Patcher guy. Yeah, Michael Patcher. Tell me what your opinion is on him. Tell me what your opinion is on microtransactions, and tell me what your opinion is on Game Informer as a whole, as well as Blizzard. Tell me your opinion on all this stuff, because I am very interested to see. So if you guys like the video, go ahead and like it. If you dislike, go ahead and dislike, and go ahead and comment below and tell me why you rate it like you did, as well as doing all the other stuff down there. And I hope you guys enjoy this like freehand video of me just ranting and just bashing this Michael Patrick guy, because he is not a great guy in my vision right now. So anyway, with that, I'd like to say thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.